So we are live. Let me get the link going to everybody. So keeping
certainly honored to be co-commentating with Ferrari's future world champion, Mr. Terrible.
Yeah, only if you like die or something and you're not able to race. Only if you have another kid. Only if the groceries come.
No, man. What are you talking about? Solid performance today.
You know what's funny is in the last race I was like, fuck, I wish I could have done a little better. And you're like, yeah, don't worry, we'll get plenty of Ferrari 1-2s. Boy, oh boy, yeah. If you ain't right, he ain't lying, folks.
He ain't lying. I ain't lying.
All right, so we are.
We are almost there.
I believe people are starting to cycle in. I'm just typing in one thing real quick.
Yep.
All right.
So, after having some first-hand experience on this track just a little while ago, especially in qualifying, how do you look upon the tire strategy for this race?
Well, it's an interesting question. I'm probably not the best person to ask in terms of qualifying here because I'm not great at qualifying, but I think more so than my take on the strategy, I kind of just want to see what everyone else is doing, and then maybe we can touch on that. Like, for instance, we see Jace right now, MST, Vice Shang, and Bai Shang, who we're very happy to have back. He's recovering from just an injury, I guess, so to speak. I think that's the best way to put it. But he's back, so we're very happy to see him. He's very, very quick. So Cedric is also out there on the mediums. Tone is out there on the mediums. So why are they on the mediums? I mean, surely they're going to be doing a one-stop, right, T?
I mean, you would think so, coming out on the medium tire right off the bat. And especially at this track, if you can get good pace off of the hard tires, I do believe it's a viable strategy.
Yeah, and as we say that, the two guys, well, they were on provisional pole, but the Calcius just beat the both of them. But Bai Shang and Tone putting in a 127.6 and a 127 flat, respectively, on those mediums. Looking decent, but I think we're going to see times in 2.5s and 125s and maybe even the 124s here today. So I don't know where that's going to put them. So
absolutely, as Steinzap comes in with a 125.4.
And Renee just beats him.
Yeah, we're already starting to see these low times into the 125. So I do believe that you're right, and that we will see a dip into the high 124s.
Yeah, and let's see if we can go on board with FLR as he crosses the line. FLR crosses the line with a 126 flat, so that's good enough for fourth. Who else is about to cross the line? I think that's Cali Rob. No. FaZe. FaZe is a new reserve. FaZe and Kaus is new reserve, so we're very happy to have him on the grid with us here today. They are race tested, they're race approved, ready to go, and he puts in a 126.3, so he's an 8th. I'm going to go on board with Cali Rob. He's in 13th. He's coming around the final corner. He's gunning it for the line, using up all that ERS, and he puts it into 4th with 125.7. Great lap.
So we're already starting to see on the first, set of qualifying tires some solid lap times. So it definitely will be interesting to see as far as their tire strategy is, and I know that it's something that I used in our race, whether they're going to sit out for the middle stint, and what would be the third qualifying soft tire,
and that's
or maybe a medium.
And Stein's up in the pits. It looks like RTB Vixify into the pits. I think Renee into the pits. Steinmine is crossing the line. He improves to the 125.9, but this is his second lap, so he's going to jump into the pits. Looks like there's a Racing Point into the pits, McLaren into the pits, and MST jumping into the pits. He invalidated his lap, but he already put one in. So really tight field so far. Some in the 125s, a lot in the 126s. I think these times are going to improve, right?
I believe so. And right now on board with Vixtify as he goes out on his hot lap. He'll probably be the next car to cross the line, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of times he'll put in.
Yeah, and I'm on board with Cali Rob, but I think he's going slow. He's either going to start a hot lap or go into the pits. I think he's going to go into the pits. Yeah, so let's go.
Yeah, I would think so.
Let's go on board with Vixtify. You're right, because he's going to start a hot lap here. So Vixtify is a newer member with us. We're very happy to have him. He's got a real passion for racing. He's a great guy, but what really matters is this guy's quick. So let's stay on board with him because we know he has the potential to fight for pole. So really nice to turn one.
As Vixtify starts his hot lap, he's pretty much got a wide open track at this point, so, you know, great timing as far as starting his hot lap.
And that's the tricky thing, right? Because sometimes when you get sent out of the pits right into the path of someone or into a lot of traffic, it can really mess up your, it gives you dirty air, it detracts from your concentration of what's happening, your focus, but he's got a clear track, so let's see what he can do here.
It'll definitely help him as far as getting into that flow, good air, you know, minimizing that time around corners and straights. It's a great thing to have a wide open track.
But I think the flow is the most important part here, because this is one of those tracks where I feel if you fall out of that rhythm, you're going to start losing positions.
They certainly have those corners that if you're not, you know, in that flow, you're just going to miss them completely. You're going to go wide. You're going to have to brake. It'll totally demolish a good qualifying lap.
And this looks like a pretty decent lap here from Vixtify. So as he comes around the final corner, where is this going to place him? He's on the curb, full throttle, giving it everything.
I did notice that he ran a little bit wide on the second to last corner, but it is good enough for 8th place with a 126.2.
Yeah, so 126.2, great lap. Let's see what else everyone else is doing. Kubali is behind the Haas of, it looks like Sesejek. Sesejek on the medium.
Looks like, I do believe that Tone is going to be the next to cross the line. He was on an out lap while Vixtify was starting his.
And who's that AlphaTauri? Do you see that AlphaTauri in Sector 3? Can you see who that is?
I don't. Let's see.
I'm on board with Hubali. Hubali, who we know is mega quick. The only issue here is that the guy in front of him is on those medium tires. Oh, but he gets out of the way. So heads up driving from Sesejek. The Premier guys showing why they're Premier. So let's actually...
Tone comes around the straightaway. He's going to cross the line
but he's going into the pits.
He's going to jump into the pit. He must have invalidated his lap.
Not sure what happened. Cali Rob. It's Faze that's crossing the line, but he's starting his hot lap. Adri's starting his hot lap as well. The Renault, one of the Renaults starting his hot lap. And let's go down with Hubali. Hubali is now approaching Sector 3.
And he's coming up to some traffic, it looks like.
He is, but he should be okay. But he got ahead of Sesejek, so I'm not sure why Sesejek got back ahead of him. Maybe he went off or something, but we'll see what happens here. Yeah, not sure what happened. What is this time going to be? 128.1. So I think he may have had a moment and lost traction or something.
Yeah, I do believe so.
And what else is happening at the moment? It looks like there is a Ferrari that just crossed the line. That's either Faze Bass or Axis. Renault's crossing the line. That looks to be Rene just starting his hot lap. So Stein's up ahead of him in Sector 2. Looks like there's a bunch of cars on the back straight getting out of the way. Okay, so heads up driving from them.
Speaking of Renault...
And FLR just crosses the line and he improves to 6th, so he bumps Steinmine down to 7th. And what do you got on Renault?
Well, I was going to say, you know, speaking of Renault, what a deadly combination of drivers. I mean, Renko and Steinzap, Steinzap being last year's world champion. We know Ren is just a blistering fast driver.
Well, many would argue that Rene is the one who, based on merit, should have won that championship. So you have the guy who won and the guy who should have won on one team. That's usually going to mean that one of them is going to win, right? But we'll see. A lot of really stiff competition, but you're right, because that team is great.
Putting it in on pole position.
Wow,
with
great
a 125.3.
Great lap from MST. I missed that one completely. And Grumpy's in the chat. What's up, Grumpy? Adri is jumping into the pits. Let's see. There's the McLaren. Cam.
I do believe Stein's app improved with a 125.3.
Very good. Cam goes to 125.4, so he's up into 6th. Axis puts in his lap. He's up into 4th. That bumps everyone down a bit. So Axis with 125.3. I believe
so
Tone. Go ahead.
Between pole position and P5 at the moment,
it's nothing.
It's nothing.
Less than a blink of an eye. You're right.
Yeah.
Tone starting his hot lap. Rene crossing the line. He does not improve, but he was going slow on that lap, so he must have got impeded there. This is his hot lap now. So everyone that's tuning in, thank you all for tuning in. You guys are checking out round 2 of the Premier Tier. Performance Racing League Season 2 Premier Tier. The top tier. And Rene looking really, really good on this lap. Looks like there is a AlphaTauri crossing the line. It's Calcis. He improves to 10th with the 125.9. So nice job from Calcis. It looks like... Who is that? Crossing the line. Interestingly, it looks like Dace hasn't put in a lap, so I wonder what's going to happen with Dace.
Yeah, I just noticed that. He just puts it in with a 130 or 136, but of course, you know, that's something must have happened there.
Yeah, not sure. I think I was just a slow lap. I think he's going to do one more hot lap. So Nafta in the chat. What's up, Nafta? How are you, bro? Haven't talked to you in a while. Rusty's in the chat saying go Team McLaren. Vegboin is a new reserve in Tier 1. He said he's on the phone with Calstis. Okay. Welcome. Let's see what...
Watching Ren just a minute ago just, you know, brought something to my attention and something that I experienced.
Pole position from Rene. Pole position with Rene. So we just saw that we were on board with him that whole lap. So if you're wondering, what does a pole around here look like?
There it is.
There it is. So great job from Rene. What were you saying about that? Watching Rene, what did you notice?
Watching Rene on his hot lap, you know, brought something to my attention about this track, and it's that S section.
Yeah.
If you don't get it right,
yeah,
with your braking, it seems like that may be the biggest section of track.
Well, yeah.
To lose time on.
It's about finding the right balance between the first part and the second. If you maximize the first part, you lose out on the second. If you go too timid on the first part, you can go faster on the second, but you lost time. So it's somewhere in between, where you have to rotate that car from the right, then back to the left. And yeah, you're right, because if you mess that up, you're going to lose a little bit of time, a lot of time, because it'll shoot you out really well if you take it just right.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't get it just right, it just throws the whole balance of the car off.
And Vixify looks like he invalidated his lap, so he's back in the pits. He knows he can do better, so he's going to have to hurry to get back out there. So Cedric also invalidated his lap, so it's all going wrong for Haas.
I mean, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. If you want to get a hot lap in,
you gotta go now.
You gotta get out there.
And Tone is in the pits. He invalidated his lap, but I think he already set his lap. So Tone is in third. So Tone's another one of these guys that when he's fully focused, when it's his day, he's gonna be fighting for the win here. And look at him, he's only a couple tenths off. So really excited to see Tone back in the mix. We know he's probably one of the best I've ever seen. And yeah, I'm glad that it seems like he's back in the groove, so I'm excited to see what he can do in the race.
Yeah, just a great driver, and especially a great qualifier.
Yeah,
he's always been great at qualifying, just had some unfortunate incidences when it comes to the race.
Yeah, but I'm of the belief that, you know, your trials, so to speak, are what's going to make you better. So he's been going through a bunch. Some may have been his fault, others, a lot of them actually haven't. So look, the law of averages says that they can only go bad so many times before it starts going well. So I'm looking for this to be Tone's race. So we'll see what he can do from the second row, because he's on the second row. He's just right behind, so he has every chance to fight for the win.
Absolutely. It's only uphill for Tone from here.
It really is. And so it looks like who are going to get in these final runs. There is a Ferrari that is in Sector 3 going to start his hot lap. Behind him, I believe, is...
It looks like a Red Bull is driving out of the pits now. We got a minute and 10 seconds
The guys have to hurry if they, yeah, they really have to hurry if they want to make it to the end and cross the line before it's over.
But you're going to be fighting with a lot of traffic. It looks like most people here are on their outlaps.
So, yeah, NAFTA saying he's fine, and you, I'm good, NAFTA. Great to see you in here, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Rusty saying, yeah, that's how you learn through mistakes. Yep, agreed. I think everyone can agree there. So, Axis, we're on board with Axis. And who is just ahead of him? I think that might be Calirab, but he's on a hot lap. I don't know if he's going to make it to the end. Vice Shang has retired.
Hopefully that was a retirement in the pits.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to review that one after the race. Let's see. So Calirab gets out of the way. I don't think Calirab, unfortunately, was going to make it to start a hot lap. So bad timing for Calirab.
I also wanted to speak on this before we missed it. Dace did put in a 126.5, so
okay,
he improved from that.
So he's at least on the board.
Absolutely.
And let's see.
Ren,
Mercedes crossing the line.
125.1.
Wow.
It's so fast.
So yeah. It's just incredible what this guy's able to do.
Yeah.
Axis crosses the line, 125.2. Wow.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Great.
14 thousandths of a second.
So close here in the Premier tier. I mean, that's just so close.
So I wonder then if these guys are going to be able to, I think these guys are going to be able to finish their hot laps. I think they crossed the line just in time because it doesn't show the finish, the checkers flag next to their name. Let's see who's able to finish the lap.
Now we see the checkers flag.
Yeah, now we see the checkers flag starting to come up. FLR crossing the line. He does not improve. Calcis, does he improve? He doesn't improve. Tough break for the AlphaTauri boys.
It looks like Tone is on his hot lap now.
Yeah, and there's also a Renault out there. I believe that's Steinzap. I'm going to go on board with Steinzap. The way these guys attack the corners is just unbelievable. A gear higher than even I take them.
It looks like Tone is coming up to the final section.
Steinzap is flying. He improves, but he does not enough to fight for the top. He's in fourth. Tone takes pole. 125.0. Wow.
What a blistering lap.
Vixify into 11th. He improves. FaZe improves.
Wow.
MST does not improve. Who else is crossing the line? Sasejic is crossing the line. I think he had an invalidation.
Cam comes into the pits.
Calirab crossing the line. He does not improve. Steinmeier crosses the line. He does improve to the 125.5. Great lap. That puts him into P9.
Where's Hubali at?
So it's basically, yeah, Hubali. Let's go on board with Hubali. And he's going into the pits.
He's going to try to, yeah.
No, so that's going to be it, actually.
So there's your lineup right there.
Wow.
Wow, what a great job by Tone to put it on pole with no time to spare. So to go through the order real quick, we've got in pole position Tone with a 125, almost flat. We got in P2 Ren with a 125.1, Axis with a 125.2, P4 is MST with a 125.2, Stein in 5th place with a 125.3, Adrian P6, Vice 7, Cam P8, Stein, mine in P9, Calirab in P10 finishing off the top of the order, and then FLR in 11th, FaZe 12th, Vixtify in P13, Kelsis in 14th, Hubali 15th, Dace 16th, and last but not least, Shijek in 17th.
So, Tone on pole. What were we saying about Tone?
Absolutely fantastic qualifying for Tone.
Awesome.
Leaving no time to spare.
Awesome qualifying from Tone.
Let's see if he can translate that great qualifying to the track.
I think so. I think so.
I think it's a new season for Tone. I think he's looking really good. And like we said earlier, it's all but uphill for him.
So who's all up in the chat? Razor's in the chat saying, yeah, insane qualifying times, agreed. TSD's in the chat. What's up, TSD? TSD, I wonder if MUFC, is that a Manchester United? Because if so, I love you. And who readied up already? Either FLR or MST?
Tone.
Somebody did. I am disappointed.
Very disappointed.
But it's going to be a very nice race. Okay, so let's see. This fastest lap, if you're seeing it on the screen right now, I think the game is just bugging out. That's one of the fastest laps at early stage of qualifying, so ignore that.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't show up on my screen. It only shows up on yours.
Vixify
has left the session.
So maybe that's a disconnect. I'm going to invite him back real quick. So if you're watching the broadcast, you're probably seeing a blue screen or something. Bear with me. Make sure we have all of our competitors on the grid. Disconnection issues aside. And I think he may have restarted his console or something because he's completely offline. I think his internet must have went down. Fixify, come on. So who do you see out there and what tire while I do this? What do you see?
Elsis deciding to start on the hard tire compound, and then 15th through 17th on mediums. So a very interesting tire strategy from Kelsis with the hard tire selection. What do you believe about that?
I'm going to pull that up because I'm too busy over here. Up, and the guys are bunching up, so I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, let's see.
I believe it's just Tone holding the track, trying to get those tires warmed up.
Yeah, that and trying to be not too far ahead. So let me pull up the tires. Okay, so Calcis, yeah. So Calcis on the hard tires. I don't think that's a bad choice. Yeah, you know, Razor guy did that in the Tier 1 race. And I think Razor would have been on for a really great finish. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him, but he was keeping up with everybody, relatively speaking, on those hard tires.
Well, towards the end, when I was in P2 and he was in P1 on the hard tires, I did get around him, and then he got swallowed up by the other two guys behind me. So
okay,
here we go.
Here we go.
Lights, 3, 4, 5 lights.
5 lights. As the predicted pit strategy pops up. And there are, but no one's going.
Having a bit of an issue here.
So Vixify is way up there, but he's not even in the race. So I'm not sure.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but he's under AI control, so I think everyone's going to be able to get by him anyway. So let's see what's happening into turn 1. A lot of traffic into turn 1. The guys are able to get through unscathed, it looks like. Yeah, so everyone through turn 1 just fine. It looks like Vice Shang dropped the position, so Steinmine up into 8th. And a lot of action going on. Oh, and it looks like Cali Rob drops down the inside of FLR. He takes the position, so that's FLR to 13th. Base moving up to 14th.
Looks like Vaisheng is all over the back of Steinmine, trying to go around the outside. Doesn't make it stick.
So I'm not sure what's happening then, why Vixify is up ahead.
I believe there might have been a light glitch, and because he was being controlled by the AI, it allowed him to get off the line.
That's really weird. I don't think his results didn't count today, unfortunately, if he's not even racing. So Tone in P1, MST in P2, Renee just behind in P3, Great start from Tone. Great start from MST. Adri just behind them. Adri set in the fastest purple sector, so he's got a lot of pace right now. Steinshap just behind him. He's in 6th. Axis is right on his tail.
Yes. So what happened to Cali Rob off the start? He's lost a good bit of position.
I'm not sure. He got past FLR, and then he must have fell back for some reason. So it looks like he must have made a little tiny mistake there. Didn't catch it, so Vice Chang is now making a move on Steinmine, so he's past him. Really nice move from Vice Chang. Who else is making a move here?
Steinmine, very, very close to...
Yeah, he had just gotten past from Vice Chang.
Yeah, right.
So let's see, what else is happening?
Adri is probably the next closest with he's dialing in on Ren.
Yeah, but we also have Dace, and Dace is just behind FLR. So these guys are out of the top 10 runners, at least to start. They're on the medium tires, so they don't have any tire advantage. But Dace is putting a lot of pressure on FLR.
And it looks like Steinmine ran a little bit off the track as he's trying to get close to Weisheng.
Yeah, so it looks...
Past me, but you're not going to get away with it.
Yeah, and it looks like Vixify now is going to start cycling to the back. He's under AI control, so I'm not sure what happened to Vixify, but really, really tough break for him. The guy should be able to just drive through him. Unfortunately, he'll have to deal with a little bit of dirty air. So what else is happening? That's... Adri is just behind Renee.
Right.
And
looks like Dace is closing down on FLR.
He is. Dace is starting to close down on FLR, but FLR is putting up quite the fight. FLR actually with a touch better pace, I think, because he's got a little bit more ERS. And Tone setting the fastest lap, so great driving so far from Tone. I'm going to go back up to Adri, who's trying to have a sniff at Renee, but Renee's also got the slipstream from the car ahead, so kind of neutralizes that advantage.
It looks like Hubali is also catching up to Cam.
So let's go on board with Hubali.
Which is interesting because Hubali is on those medium tires. So
yeah, he's going to go long.
If he can keep a good pace, such as the one that he's on right now, it could be a very good race for him.
Yeah, so let's see what Hubali can do. Hubali, he's mega fast, he's lightning quick. It's really just a matter of whether he can get everything lined up perfectly in the race. Steinmine goes a little bit wide there. A little bit of a touch from Cam. A little bit of a touch from Cam. Very minor the contact there.
Hubali all over the backside of Cam.
Yeah, so Hubali, he's got the DRS. If he plays this right, he'll be able to fly by him on the main straight, assuming he gets a good exit.
Yep, and one thing is you gotta show patience.
Yeah, it's a long race, right? The last thing you want is to have to do is to change your wing or to get some kind of penalty or something. Or worse, do a Vettel spin from trying to send it up the inside and get it tapped while you're on the inside.
Yeah.
So what do you see right now? What's developing?
Well, as I'm staying on board with Hubali, I'm also looking at position changes, and it looks like the big winner at the moment is Hubali with a 5 position gain. That
and will Tone setting the fastest lap. So Tone, this seems to be his day. We have Cam making a move on Steinmine, so he's by on the DRS. Weisheng was trying to have a sniff of a move on Access, but he's not close enough. Let's go.
And also, too, is Adri. Looks like he's going to try to get the move done on Ren as he goes up the inside.
He's on the inside, a little bit of... and he loses the rear end.
But holds on to it.
He holds on, but Renee getting the elbows out. Really, really great driving from Renee, but it's what you would expect from, what people would argue is this. Yeah, I mean, you could argue he could be the champion this year, and from this tier of drivers in general. But he's
absolutely
cream of the crop.
As we go back on board with Hubali being the closest battle, I do believe, other than Dace and FLR.
Yeah, so it looks like a lot of close battles happening on track at the moment. This grid is very, very, very tight. Looks like there is a yellow in Sector 2. That is Tone. Tone.
That is Tone.
Tone.
No! And he breaks his wing.
Yes, he's broken his wing. He's waiting for everybody. Very unfortunate for Tone. He'll get turned around, but now he's at the back of the grid.
That being said, the battle at the front with 1 and 2 between MST
and MST and Renee. He's trying to make a move. What can Renee do here? MST covers the inside.
Yes. And that also allows Adri to slip in behind Ren So it's very,
Adri with the double overtake. Adri with the double overtake.
And he gets the inside.
Feisty driving there.
Yes, yes.
Oh! And the guys.
We got a pile up.
It's so close through there. And neither driver.
Oh, they're side by side again.
Neither driver wanting to give each other an inch.
No. It's almost, you know, it'd almost be better just to back off a little bit, slip in. You're going to allow multiple guys to lock into these.
Oh, and a little bit of contact with Adri.
Yes,
but you know what's happening?
losing.
You know what's happening? The smart thing is to back off a little bit, right? And not waste time. But what they're suffering right now from is T-Widow syndrome, where they can't back off. And they've got to go for it. So Adri gets a little bit loose there, and like you mentioned, just allowing the guys around to make a move. So MST pounced, and now he's passed.
Look, you know, a lot of drivers just don't know this about these cars, but there is a pedal on the right side, and that allows the car to go faster. And if you press on that pedal, it's called full send.
Let me see. Let me write this down. You said the pedal's on the right side? Let me grab a pen.
It's on the right.
Okay. Maybe I'll go a little bit faster now.
We're on board with Cam as he tries to make a move on Axis down the inside, but does to make it stick.
It's not close enough, but he's going to have the DRS. I think this is going to be, the closest. And let's go on board actually with MST, because he might try to make a move.
Cam going down the inside.
And MST is not close enough. Cam does make the move.
Makes the move. And
really
he gets
nice.
The stick.
Yeah, really nice move. But Axis is going to have the DRS on this next little mini straight. Oh, but so does Cam. So that neutralizes that.
Yeah. There's also a nice
FLR is trying to make a move on Hubali.
And he goes down the
there
inside
he goes.
And gets the job done.
And Dace is going to make a move as well.
So they're going to go
it's
side
so
by side
close.
through the S's. They make a little bit.
A little bit of contact. It tightens up. It gets really tight through there.
Now we have both of the Alphas, one on top of the other, so it'd be interesting to see what are they going to do here. They're going to back off. They're going to allow a little bit of breathing room. They are teammates.
The AlphaTauris?
No, the Alfa Romeos.
Oh. I was wondering, like, AlphaTauris.
Dace and Callie.
Yeah, I wonder what the team orders there are, but you would imagine that he needs to let Callie Rob by so he can get up as far up the road as possible, but we'll see. Let's see. So far, Renee, MST, Adri is 1, 2, and 3 so far. You can see Steinzap just behind them. Tone, who was on pole and in the lead, unfortunately, he lost it in that fast turn 12 uphill right-hander, the flat out. So you hate to see it. You hate to see it when everything else is going to line up perfectly for him. Baisheng in the pits.
Baisheng in the pit.
So he's going for an undercut. Baisheng going for the two-stopper.
Oh, and Adri and MST. See, this is what I was going to question just a minute ago and ask you about. So is it better for Adri to try to fight for that position, or for them two to work together to try to catch Rim? Because at this moment, they're letting him get away.
Well, the thing is, there's no real way for them to work together if they can't really communicate that to each other. So they kind of, one or the other just has to get ahead, whoever's ever on better pace. If that's Adri, he's got to get around and try to stay onto the slipstream of Renee. Otherwise, you're right. This battling of MST and Adri, it's going to allow Renee to get away. And Renee, I'm sure, can see that in his mirrors, and he'll be delighted.
Right. But if you're Adri and you do have that better pace, is it not better for MST to allow him to pass and then them two stay close to each other with DRS?
Yeah, but you're talking about the rational mind, and I don't think when you're driving at the limit, your rational mind is exactly the one that's in control. I think what Adrian can do here is if MST, basically do whatever MST doesn't do. If MST pits, stay out. If he doesn't pit, come in. Try to do something because he's not able to get around it, and it is costing him time, like you're mentioning.
Right. As we go on board with Steinzap, he says, I want a little piece of this action.
He's right there.
Let me get into it.
And there he goes. So you can see Adri seeing that. He can't get around him, so he's going to do the opposite. Steinzap will as well. So that's Renee in the pits from the lead. MST into the pits from second.
Hubali is getting a run on
FLR, but they both got DRS. I think it's going to neutralize that advantage. But Hubali putting in a cracking race so far. One of our top guys here.
Will both of them have DRS through this section as well?
No, they won't. So, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move there.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like a very optimal passing section, even though it is a DRS zone.
But check it out, just behind them, we got Dace. So Dace, having moved up many positions here, he's doing really, really well. Dace is another one of those guys that we know if he can put in a consistent race, he can score some really great finishes. As Hubali just ahead of him is getting a little squirrely, so Hubali needs to regather himself.
Not only that, but Hubali and Dace both have time penalties already in the race.
What kind of time penalties are we looking at there? Can you pull that up?
I do believe that they're both 3-second time penalties. We also have Axis down below, and P16 with a 3-second, and Tone with a terrible 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think he got that speeded onto the pit entry, so really tough day for Tone. I think Tone is still in the game if there's a safety car, which could happen, so anything could happen. You got to keep fighting for those points. So who was the closest battle on track at the moment? I think Steinzap is maybe able to make a move here on the straight. He's 5/10 behind. He got a pretty good exit. Adri got slightly better exit. I think he might be a little bit too far back right now.
Yeah, and another thing that I think that Steinzap is probably doing is Dace looks
he's going to try to make a move. Hubali's covering. Oh, and Dace might try to make a move around the outside.
Yes, but not a bad move going around the outside because it allows you to set up for the next corner.
And a little bit of contact, he gets the job done. There might have been a warning there, but on the track limits, but he gets the job done.
As Vice Shang pulls in.
And Daze hits the back of FLR and spins him.
No! And Hubali breaks his wing.
Oh,
that allows,
safety car.
Dace to just
safety car. So this is it. If Adrian Stein were hoping for something, it's come, because now they can pit and literally not lose their positions. I don't think.
Not only that, but this, you have to think in the mind of Tone. All right, this race has not gone my way.
It's not over.
Maybe it's looking up for Hill.
It's
it
not
might
over.
Open up. Yeah.
It's not over. Tone can come in right now for the hard tires and make it all the way to the end.
So what do you think? Oh, FLR is
out. So I'm not sure what happened, but let's go on board with Tone and see if we can see what happened to his car. Yeah, well, the car is already gone at this point, so I'm not sure what happened. We did see the contact from... Yeah, we did see the contact of FLR's car by Dace. Dace did hit him in the back, but I'm not sure why he retired. I'm not sure if he got pushed into a wall that gave him terminal damage or what, but...
Yeah.
I guess that'll be reviewed after the race.
What do you think the move is here?
Hard tires from here to the end, because if this is the only time that everyone else is going slow around the track, and you can take advantage of that to not lose too much time in the pits. Yeah, so it looks like everyone's going onto the hard tires. So Adrian onto the hard tires, Stein onto the hard tires. I think Tone should come in for the hard tires. I think everyone should come in for the hard tires. It's a hard tire party pretty much.
Cali Rob is actually going to stay out.
But he's staying out, so I think it's because they didn't want to double stack.
Yes.
And Cali Rob thought he'd be able to drive past the safety car, but he's not going to. So what Cali Rob thought he would be able to do, go really fast right now to get into the pits again, is not going to work for him, unfortunately.
It would have set him up very well.
But they should have just double stacked. But Cali Rob's going to lose out here. Renee...
Well, he could just not pit, save track position, and then stick with his original strategy of the two-stop.
Well, that's what I mean. I think at this point he probably isn't going to pit again, but I think even with that being said, I think he should do it while you're under the safety car. You are going to lose positions, but I think you're going to lose more time if you don't pit.
Well, another thing to look at is what tires Rin has come out on.
Well, see, Renee's on soft tires because he pit just before the safety car. So this has completely thrown a spanner into the works for Renee, because everyone else is now, a lot of these guys are now on the tires that they can finish the race on. Adri, Steinzap, Hubali, FaZe Bass, Vice Shangy, watch for him making moves, and also watch for Tone making moves. He may be down, but he's not out, and we know he's quick.
That's right.
So all of these guys are going to be able to fight back through the pack. Renee's going to have to pit again. Obviously, Rob's going to have to pit again at some point. MST is another one that's going to have to pit again.
So if you're Rob, do you pit here or do you continue with the tire strategy?
No, pit for the hards. You'll come out in back of the pack, I think roughly, but you lose too much time if you do it during. Yeah, you lose too much time if you do it during green flag conditions. So who's up in the chat?
Especially with Rin being on the soft tire the equal compound tire.
I'd be surprised if Renee doesn't come to the pits right now. And
it does look like he will.
Renee thought about it, but he stays out. So Cali Rob into the pits. He's going to come in for the hard tire, I would imagine. Renee stays out. So there's a very interesting choice for Renee. And
not only that, but MST Sport is also on the soft tires still. So what is the play for those two? Renee and
very,
Sport.
very, very simple. When the flag goes green, go as fast as they can. Get around all these guys on the hard tires. Try to build up a big gap and come into the pits. You're still going to maybe come out just behind them, but you are going to be on the superior tire. Not only that, but the tires that they're going to have, these one-stop runners or the hard tire runners, they're going to have been, by the time these guys have to pit again, Renee and MST, and by the time they get into the pits with the new tire and come out behind those long runners, the long runners are going to have really old tires, really worn tires. So not only are they going to be the softer, the harder compound, but they're going to be worn. They should be able, in theory, to fly by them. So the strategy could still work. But
I couldn't agree more. And look, I'd like to share a little trick with Renee and Sport, as something I've shared with you. There's a pedal down on the right-hand side of the car. If you press it, you'll go faster.
Ladies and gentlemen, T-Widow. All right, so let's see. So I think the important thing is going to be for MST and Cam. They've got to make these moves around Adrian Steinzap immediately.
Right.
They've got to get ahead of them, and they got to start building a gap because they are going to be on the faster tire. So Cali Rob, it looks like Cali Rob went onto the mediums. Yeah, so good observation there, Tomas. Razor saying that maybe they should go onto the hards.
I don't.
The safety car is in the slap.
I do believe that the people that have, like Renee and Sport and also Cam, that have stuck with their respective strategies, I believe that in the end, the hard tires not being the superior tire, they're going to lose time to these guys and allow them to catch back up.
Well, we're going to see, though, because we know that the hard tire, it can be viable. It's not going to be the quickest. But if Steinzap and Adri, for instance, can hold MST and Cam off for at least a few laps, their soft tire advantage is going to dissipate, so to speak. So Case is making contact with Access. It looks like Access must have touched him from the back.
Oh, it looks like MST Sport gets a good jump on him.
He did get a great jump, so nice jump from MST. So he's already up into second. Great job. And now MST has got to go off into the distance with Renee. So who else is making moves? Dace is making a move. Dace on those soft tires. Hubali picking up a penalty there. So that's Dace up into 8th, Hubali 9th. So Hubali is on the tires that he'll finish the race on. Dace needs to pick up the pace and start building a gap to these guys. And it's getting really feisty. It's getting really feisty in the exit of turn 4.
Yes, it looks like Cam and
Sejek, they're making contact into the corner. They're still side by side.
That's the corner we were talking about as far as the flow.
Oh, and there's a little bit of contact again to Sejek. Wow. Into turn 9 and 10.
Oh, and they're kind of piling up.
They are piling up a little bit. What a battle, though, so far that's developing.
Wow, what a restart.
So this battle for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th, and 10th, because Calcis is right behind them. And there is a yellow. Who is that? It looks like it may have been Tone who lost grip, but he's back.
No, Steinmine is off the track.
Oh, and then Steinmine is off, so he's lost some positions as well. But he's back on. Does he have any damage?
I can't tell.
He does have wing damage. Very unlucky for Steinmine. I think he's got to have to come into the pits now. He's going to have to.
I think you're going to have to come onto the hard tires.
He could even do the mediums from here. I wonder what happened. So that's Tone up into P13. So keep pushing Tone.
Well, he's on 7 lap.
A little bit of contact in the battle for P6 in turn 1. A little bit of contact with Cedric and Days, getting the elbows out. So Renee P1, MST P2, AG P3. So let's see what's going to happen here.
It looks like Gaxus is closing in on Kelsis.
And both these guys have time penalties because of making contact under the safety car. So not sure what happened, but Now they've compromised their own race, or each other's race.
So as the order sits, we have Dace with a 10 position increase, as well as Sajejek.
Really great job from these guys so far.
Somebody please message him and tell him to change his name. It's too difficult.
While you're doing that, he's messaging someone, tell some of these dumb Americans to learn how to pronounce these names correctly. Alright, let's see. Dace, yeah, so this is still the closest battle, Dace, but it looks like Calirab is... Dace is... It looks like Calirab is going to be able to make a move on Tone, as Renee sets the fastest lap. So great pace from Renee. He's starting to pull out the gap a little bit from MST. I think they've got to go a bit faster, though, if they want to get back to the front after their second stop. So what else is happening on track at the moment? Let's go on board. Let's go check in with Vice. Yeah. Vice is starting to close up on Axis. And Vice Sheng's doing it. Yeah, Vice Sheng's doing it.
Kelsis is going to make a move on Hubali.
Yeah.
Around the
and
outside,
Hubali, they're going to make contact. Hubali is just ahead, but Calcis, I think, is going to have the advantage. Wow.
Yes.
Oh! He catches it. He catches it.
He did.
What a great save from Hubali. Wow. Wow, that was very feisty. Hard, what is it? Hargy-bargy, as they would say.
Yeah.
Great save from Hubali. That's the thing, though, when you go side by side through those S's, do you risk it? Because any little touch like that in such a high-speed corner, and you're going to lose the car.
That corner has got to be the scariest part of this track to go side by side on.
Yeah. I've never heard that sound come out of Terrible. I don't know what sound that was, Razor. I will try my best to do it again for you. Alright, let's see.
It was probably ooh.
Ooh. Alright. So let's see what is happening on track at the moment. So we still have Hubali. It seems like... Dace.
Can somebody...
Dace is trying to make a move on Cam. Yep. Calcis is trying to make a move on Sisejek. Dace is going to be too far back.
Kelsis has got around Sisejek.
It's Sisejek trying to make a move on Kelsis, actually. And he gets it done. So great move from Sisejek. That's Sisejek up to P7.
As Vice Sheng closes in on Axis.
Yeah, I think he's going to try and move here. Axis goes to cover the inside.
He's going to go around. He's going to go the long way around.
And they hook each other a little bit.
They do.
There's contact. And more contact.
Yes,
wow. And Axis stays ahead. Axis stays ahead.
And that's going to allow Hubali to get right on the backside of Vice.
And Stein lost it on the corner of on the exit of turn 8.
Oh no!
So his wing is okay. He will continue, but he's losing positions. I think he was in 4th. Now he's down into 9th. So now he's got to recover. He's lost. How much time has he lost? He's lost, what, 5 seconds or so?
A lot.
A lot of time.
Dace is closing in on Cam. He's going to go around the long way.
Wow. Dace around the outside in turn 12.
Oh, just a beautiful
Unbelievable.
overtake, because a little bit wide. Does that cause him to get another penalty?
I'm not sure, but that was likely a warning, but that was an amazing move by Dace.
He does. He does have 6 seconds worth of penalties now.
Well, it was still a great move, but unfortunately it did cost him. But Cam picked up another one, too.
Cam picks up a 3.
So I think now they're on equal terms. How much T. Darson saying how much of a gap do we think Renee needs to build by the time he pits? He's got to get up there, try to get up there at least 10 seconds, because it's going to be like a 15, 20, 22 second stop. You don't want to be too far back after the pits.
Adri really being the only one that's gonna be of any contest to Ren or MST Sport, because he is on the hard tire. He doesn't have to pit again. Yeah,
but more so than like what tire he's on, the pace considering the tire he's on is really impressive. Here's the thing: they're going to want to try to get at least 10 seconds ahead of Adri, but so far they're not able to do it.
Right, they're only at 4 seconds at the moment.
So if they take a 20-second pit stop, now they're going to come out 16 seconds behind. And
absolutely. Stein is actually closing in on Axis, as well as Vice is closing in on Stein. Yeah,
so great battle here for P8 so far. You got the Ferrari of Axis, Steinzap, our reigning champion in that Renault, and Vice Sheng in his glorious return, his debut in Season 2 here with Racing Point. And Hubali's just behind them, so...
Speaking of which, we need to get Hubali's address so we can send him my drifting crown. He is the new king.
Well, the way he caught that, I thought it was you driving for a second. I had to look really closely at the screen again.
I was having a little bit of PTSD from my drifting days.
Let's see. So MST is 4 tenths behind Renee.
Kelsis is closing in on Sezejek.
And MST is not close enough.
MST, yeah.
Yeah, so Kelsis is going to make a move on Sezejek.
He's going to go the long way around. No, he's actually...
Yeah, he's going to go around the outside. And
oh, they make contact.
There is contact.
Oh, there's more contact.
More contact, and he is forced to cut the track. And Stein's making a move on Access. Oh, and this is going to be
and
3 cars.
And also making the move on Access.
And yeah, Vice Shang gets around Stein's so great driving from Vice Shang. Wow.
That's going to bring Hubali into the mix as well.
It is, because these guys are battling it out. But Bai Sheng really doing an amazing job in his return to racing after recovering from an injury. And his first race, he's already battling it out and getting around the reigning champion. So really great job from Bai Sheng so far.
So we're 17 laps into this race, and still we have close battles with a large chunk.
Yeah,
even though we had a restart.
I think most of the field is less than a second apart from each other. So
right.
Let's see. MST is now on the main straight. Let's check in with MST. MST into the pits. So he's coming in for medium tires.
The undercut.
He's trying the undercut. Yep. Let's see how that works out.
Yes, he is going to go into the medium.
And that moves Dace up into P3, who will have to pit again. Cam up into P4.
So this is what we're going to find out. What the gap amount, was it enough to be able to get back up there to Adri?
Yeah, we're going to see, because as it is right now, where is MST? MST is coming out all the way in 14th. So
Tone actually closing in on Cali Rob. So he's actually making a small comeback.
So Tone doing a really amazing job to stay in the game, keep his head in the game, not worry about all this other stuff, and just keep pushing. The race is coming back to him now. He did luck out with the safety car, but these things will happen, and he'll take it. He'll take whatever he can get, because now he's fighting up again close to the top 10. Considering how he was way at the back of the field, this is going to be a really great race so far, I think, from Tone in terms of a recovery race. He does make a little bit of contact there with Cali Rob, but it's very minor, little touch.
Yes, and also too, Cali Rob is also trying to close in on Hubali.
Yeah. So Cali Rob showing the advantage of those medium tires.
He's definitely getting the most out of that tire compound. There's a little bit of a weird line coming from Hubali through that section.
It makes it work. He's staying ahead of Cali Rob. So let's see who else is. So Renee in the pits. Renee in the pits. Let's go up to Renee. Dace into the pits. So that's our leader into the pits from P1, going on to the medium tires. Where will he cycle out? Dace also into the pits. So that's Adri P1, Cam P2.
And it looks like Kelsis is actually going to make a move down the inside.
Nope, and it's not enough. Oh, and Kelsis makes contact. Sesajek. I think Sesajek turned in on him there, but I think the stewards will have to review. And
that allows Weissschenk to move up into P4.
And Stein's up into P5, so the race starting to come back. It's starting to come to these hard tire runners, Weissschenk and Stein's up. Very unfortunate from Kelsis. I think he'll be having a word with the stewards about that one, about Sesajek, but we'll have to worry about that after the race. Do we think the old medium tires will make it to the end? It's possible. Yeah, and MST, it looked like, MST jumped Renee in the pits, or at some point. The MST is back past Renee, so it looks like MST is in the effective lead. But, let's see, Cam is 10 laps, he'll need to do 11 laps. It's possible, Razor makes a good point, it's possible that Cam, Axis, and Cali Rob can make it to the end. It is possible. It's going to be very highly worn tires, though.
Right. So it's almost... You know, you sit there and you wonder, is it worth the risk of puncture or
time? Because if they're going to be going so slow on the worn tires, maybe it's just faster to do a pit stop. But we'll see. So Cam into the pits.
Is actually making a run.
And Cam into the pits. So Weissschenk is going to try to make a move here. That's the Sejak.
I don't think that's a bad move. Down the inside.
Sesejek's closing the door on him, though. And again, he closes the door on him on the outside.
He puts him wide, and they make contact.
Yeah, and that allows Steinzak to make his way past. So, wow, Steinzak.
Very hard fighting.
Great job.
And he also pushes Vice wide again.
So, Sesejek, I think, is a bit too aggressive. I'm not sure what happened with Stein. He did cede the position, so I'm not sure what happened. He might have gotten one of those game warnings to back off. Again, not sure what happened.
So if you're Vice and knowing that this has just happened to you trying to make the pass, how do you go upon, getting past him now, knowing what you know?
You make the move only when you're sure the move can be made. Otherwise, he's going to fight and maybe not leave you a ton of room. So it seems like Sesejek is pushing a gray area of acceptability. And if you're Vice Shang, you got to know, just stay with them in this final corner and breeze by him with the DRS and make sure you're far enough ahead where those kinds of antics can't affect you. Otherwise, you have to be on your toes and be ready to react. Which he was, to be fair to Vice Shang, but I'm sure he's not going to be happy.
Huba Lee and Cali Rob, along with Steinzap, all very, very close to one another as Axis jumps into the pits.
Axis into the pits. So Huba Lee making great progress with these hard tires. I think Cali Rob's tires are starting to go now. So now, and he goes wide. So Huba Lee is now close. He will get the DRS here. Let's see if he can make a move. And Vice Shang is going to make a move on Sesejek around the outside.
Not a bad corner to do it at.
No.
And it looks like he's got his nose ahead, just a hair.
And he gets the move done. Great job from Vice.
Absolutely fantastic, because this is, like we have said, you don't want to go side by side through that section.
You really don't. You want to be the clear car ahead. You really do. And Vice Shang did a great job of that. I would imagine he probably put on a bit of rich mix, put on a bit of overtake, but he got the job done. So great job.
Absolutely.
So Adri now 11 seconds ahead of Vice Shang. So Racing Point 1 and 2 so far.
So this is something that I was going to bring to your attention. What does this mean for Ren and MST, as we notice that Ren has gotten by MST?
Yeah, so let's go. We didn't catch that. Let's go on board, actually. And Renee picking up a time penalty. I wonder what happened there. We didn't catch that. Didn't catch that. So Cali Rob makes you wonder, can he take these tires to the end? It's possible that Cali Rob can take the tires to the end. But I think Sesejek is going to have a move here on Vice Shang. He's got the DRS. The pace is so similar that they're able to stay with each other and then make the move.
And he's going to try to go down the inside.
And he is far enough ahead. Yeah, he's far enough ahead. He's got the positioning there. So nice move from Sesejek. What else is happening? Renee gets by FaZe Bass in the Ferrari, so that's Renee making progress. He's up into 8th. Who else?
So what does it mean for Renee? Can he catch?
Good question. Let's take a look at the intervals from the leader. So we have Renee 15 seconds behind, and Renee just put in the fastest sector 1. So Renee is 15 seconds behind the leaders. He's got to make this move on Tone as soon as possible, but Tone is another one of these guys. He's a great racer, not a dirty racer or anything like that, but he will get the elbows out and he will battle you in the corner. So Renee's going to know that. He's going to try to make a move on him with his to try to minimize the risk as much as possible.
Yes, maybe wait until the straightaway gets some DRS.
Yeah,
probably
I
what
think
he's going to do. He's coming up to that section.
You can see he's probably going to...
Very close. He's going to make the move now.
He does make the move.
There's contact.
A little bit of contact, but he gets the job done. So great job from Renee, actually, because I thought he would have waited, but in his eyes, he actually doesn't have time to wait. So there's an urgency to his movement right now. So what's going to happen here? Let's go back to the intervals, and it looks like Vice Shang is going to make a move. Oh, but it looks like Sesejek outbroke himself.
Oh!
Really, really heads-up driving from Vice. He knew that he just, let me hit my mark.
Oh, he gets a little bit wide.
He gets sideways. He left the overtake on.
Oh, no, that's going to cause him to lose tons of positions.
So he did lose some positions. So Sesejek is now down into P5. All things considered, is not a bad position to be in because he's right behind Cali Rob. And Rob is on those tires that are going to be dead by the end of the race. So Secegic, he can even put the car in lean and not use overtake and just stay with Rob until he's built up a charge, and he should be able to fly by him.
There you go.
Rene is a tenth or two behind Hubali, so he's got to be very patient here. He should be able to make the move here. So yeah, move is being made now. Rene up into 6th. Right, really heads up driving from Rene. Wow, and a lot of these guys are like still less than a second apart on lap 23, so this is just incredible. Incredible scenes there. So what is happening now? There's a yellow in sector 2. It looks like that is a Ferrari.
Yep.
Not sure what happened there. It looks like, yeah, FaZe Bass went off.
So Ren tries to make a look around the outside of Secegic.
Yeah, and Rene is going to make a move. I think Rob's going to try to make a move on Stein Zap. I don't think he's going to be close enough. Rene's going to try to make a move on Secegic, but they both have DRS. Hubali is right there.
He looks down the inside of him. Little bit of contact.
A little bit of contact.
And that allows Hubali to get side by side with it.
And they're going to fight into turn 4, so what's going to happen just ahead? We're on board with Tone, who's just behind. A little bit of contact there.
We're going to look again.
Not quite close enough. Wow. Yeah, and it does, Razor said that it seems like Rob has committed to taking his tires to the end. I agree with you there. Oh, and Secegic goes a little bit wide. Who's going to have...
I think Ren actually tapped Sezegic's rear end and caused him to go a little bit. Oh, and there's a spin!
I don't know what Rene could have done there. I really don't.
Oh, and that's causing him a lot of time.
Unfortunate. And now we have MST who's trying to make a move on Tone. He makes the move on Tone, so MST up into 7th. So now we have 5-ish laps to go, 5 and some odd change.
So staying on board with Ren, he's right on the back side of Hubali.
Yeah.
He's going to have a little bit of a look.
Oh, and Hubali really forced him out.
Squeezing. Yeah, a little bit of squeeze.
But he lets him by.
And the cutback.
Oh, Rene gets a little squirrely on the exit. Hubali's going to have he doesn't get the DRS. I don't know why they didn't get the DRS. But now MST.
Oh, Lord.
MST making the move. MST up into 5th.
There's a four-way battle into the corner.
What is happening? Oh, and he's spinning Rene. What is happening there with Hubali? There was contact with Tone. Hubali, Rene. Rene was able to save it, but he's lost out. He's lost, 2 positions there.
Just some crazy battling going on. Lap 25.
So I'm not even sure how Tone was even able to stick it down the inside there, because he's on the hard tires, which don't have much grip at all.
I couldn't give you an answer for that.
I don't think Rene's going to be very happy with that one. So let's see. Rene is still just behind Tom.
Yes, he's going to look on the inside.
He sends it down the inside.
A little bit frustrated.
And he's going to be able to make the move here.
That was definitely an aggressive action as both have flashing lights. Both are out.
They're out of ERS. I think they have just enough now to use them on the straight, but not much.
I do believe that Hubali is following Ren too close. I believe it's going to cause a collision if they don't back off.
And Hubali does back off a little bit, so it looks like Hubali's biding his time now to do something on the straightaway. Tomas saying that the incidents reports will be fun. I can confirm, Tomas, that they will not be fun because I have to look at them. Alright, so let's see.
Rob is closing in on Sidezap. He's going to look down.
Yeah, so Rob making a move.
Go around the outside, yes, and he gets the job done.
Great move from Rob. So that's Rob into the podium positions.
That was a beautiful, patient move by Rob.
And what else is happening? We have Tone in 6th, Rene in 7th, Hubali in 8th. Hubali picking up another time penalty. So a lot of time penalties being picked up by these drivers here today. Razor said, "Rip stewards, a busy start to the week." The week hasn't even started, and yeah, again, we're going to have a full workload to go through. Great. All right, so what else is happening?
We have Dace closing in on Cam.
Oh, and Rene went off. Rene went off.
No, what happened?
He lost traction, and he went off again, so he's losing his rear tires. And Rene retires from the session.
That's going to cause a
It could cause a VSC or a safety car.
There's the yellow flag out.
I don't think so, because it's right by that exit. But Renee,
Dace
give it
having
up.
a look at Hubali down the run, the outside. It looks like he's gonna get the move done. Oh, and he causes a collision.
Hubali, but why is Hubali battling that so hard?
I don't know. Frustration, tensions, all of that causing huge mistakes.
They're getting too feisty, it seems. If the car is ahead of you, like, I understand that you want to fight him, but don't you set up the move now for the exit of the next corner?
Look, I believe that there's a lot of tension right now, especially with that huge battle between those 4 drivers, and then Hubali and Ren, and probably a lot of frustration, and it's causing them to make bad calls.
Yeah, the decision making right now is coming in from an emotional place, it seems, and
Hubali
yeah, so Hubali is out. So
not a surprise.
Hubali out. So looks like
Steinzap is closing in on Cali Rob.
Yeah, let's
So
go on
could
board.
it be that those medium tires are definitely starting to scream for Cali Rob, and it's allowing Steinzap on those hard compound tires to gain an advantage, I do believe.
Well, I think Steinzap will do well, really, just to stay with Rob. All he has to do is stay with them, leave the car. You can farm more fuel, leave it enriched, stay in the slipstream. You can not use the overtake as Hubali leaves the session. So unfortunate for Hubali, but yeah, Steinzap is in a great position here because he knows Rob's tires are going to get worse and worse. If he just stays with them, builds up the energy, and then that'll allow him to deploy it strategically and just fly by him if he does it right. But we'll see, because Rob could also pick up the pace here, and that'll make it difficult to do so.
Yeah, but again, Rob being on those 15-lap-old mediums, they're ending their life cycle. They're getting close.
Yeah, no, they're pretty much just about dead. So Steinzap making a move. Rob defending. 2 laps to go.
And it looks like Steinzap's going to get the job done.
He does. So Steinzap back up into P3. Great job from him. Oh, Rob had a run, but Steinzap's car was there.
And it looks like Steinzap is out of VRS, so...
Yeah, Rob's got a little bit left. Rob will be able to use it.
Yep. And again, we're lap 28, 2 laps to go. So, and as an MST Sport is starting to close in and on the action.
Let's go on board with MST, because MST is the one on the he's on the 2-stopper, so he's on the same tires as Rob, but they're much faster because they're only 9 laps old. So MST gets loose.
A little bit of
You get some oversteer. So what's going on in the race for everyone that's maybe just tuning in? We got Adrian P1, 15 seconds ahead of Vaisheng in P2. So Racing Point 1 and 2, they're on those hard tires. And it looks like Sisejek has spun off track on the exit of turn 4, I believe. So he's down in 12th. Tough day from Sisejek. And yeah, so Steinzap in P3, Rob in P4, and MST in P5. I think the closest battle, the one to watch here at the end, is going to be the battle for P3, P4, and P5. So
and not only that, but let's check out the penalties, as MST Sport actually does have a 3-second time penalty. So as long as Cali can stay within that gap and they bunch up into turn 1.
Yeah, so Rob's going to have a run on him on the right here if he can.
Yep.
Steinzap's going to try to cover, but Rob's already there.
And then here comes MST Sport.
He does.
For any which way to go around these guys.
So who's going to have the advantage here? Rob just ahead. Rob just ahead. An amazing fight for P3 here. That is going to be the fight for position, because the guys are on equal penalties, as in 0 penalties each. So great job from Adri, great job from Vaisheng, and then but the battle for P3 is not over.
So basically right now it's honestly a battle for P3 between Stein and Rob, because even if MST gets by, these 2 guys are not careful and they make contact, MST could walk away into P3.
But you can see how Steinzap he's placed his car on the inside, but he's got to be careful with MST because he's up the inside.
Oh, and Steinzap and MST make a little bit of contact, a little bit of wheel banging, and he runs him wide. And
Steinzap's not going to be happy about that because MST had penalties. He's going to lose the position anyway, and now Steinzap has lost out on that battle for the podium. And
it looks like Adri has finished in P1.
So great job from Adri. Vaisheng to be crossing the line here relatively soon. Cali Rob's going to cross the line in P3. MSC's crossing the line, but he's going to lose out with penalties. Stein's at P4. Tone in P6. And Dace in P7. Amazing, amazing drive from Tone.
No doubt.
Never gave up. He kept plugging away.
Could you say Tone, possibly driver of the day from that recovery drive?
I think Tone is my driver of the day, personally. He showed a lot of character here today. He didn't give up. He kept plugging along. He got the elbows out. I think all of it was within the realm of what's acceptable in terms of like hard racing. It was really good hard racing. And he's up into P6. Steinmine in P11.
Just because something goes wrong in the race doesn't mean you can't throw in those hard tires and play the long game.
It's never over until that checker flag waves, right? So you gotta keep plugging away. Tone did so today, and it paid off, tremendously for him. So he's up into P6. He's going to be scoring a lot of points for McLaren. And considering that he was at the back of the field at one point in the race, and he's finished ahead of Cam. So really, really, really great job.
What a race. And of course, congratulations to Adri, picking his tire strategy, making it all the right moves. Just a fantastic race from him today. And that is, also too, is Racing Point 1-2.
Yeah, it's just, I think there's going to be a lot of incident reports from this race. Everyone was really, really, really pushing the margins of acceptability there, but that's what's going to happen when everyone's fighting, tooth and nail for position when the field is so tight like it is here. We saw how tight it was in qualifying. We saw how tight it was in the race. We were like on lap 23 or something, and the guys were still, most of the field less than a second apart from each other.
Right.
So.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it, folks. That's Premier. So that's Adri with his second win in a row here. 2 wins in a row to start the season. Really great job from Adri so far. And then the rest of the field there. Go through the incident list real quick.
2 wins in a row?
Adri with 2 wins in a row, so he's starting the year off right.
Sounds awfully familiar.
Yeah. Sounds like that one T. Wido or Window guy in Tier 1, whatever his name is.
I don't know.
So, yeah, really great race. This is really great points from Racing Point. This is still not a bad finish for Stein's app. Unfortunate for Renee, he's out. But Stein's app, MST, Tone, Cam, Dace, Faye's in his first race with us. So, great race from him in his first race. And yeah, thank you. Go on.
Also got to give it up to Cali Rob. Starting in P10, ending with a podium. Just a fantastic drive from him today as well.
Well, Cali Rob is one of these guys saying sometimes, like, man, why am I in the Premier tier? Well, attention, Cali Rob. This is why. Because this guy is quick. From P10 all the way to P3, made those medium tires last an eternity.
Absolutely. A long time.
So
I would have loved to see how much tire life he had left.
It's probably not much. So for everyone that was tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in. That was round 2 of the Premier Tier Performance Racing League here at Bahrain. Next weekend, we will be at Vietnam. So thanks for joining me. And T. Widow, thank you for joining me in the broadcast.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, everybody.